Welcome back to Brighter Morning. My name is Bo Tiwari, and we're glad to have you on radio and on television. Our guest this morning, our first guest, is Professor Wayne Ganpat, and we have him now on the line. He has a little problem with his internet, so we are going to get him on the phone and we'll talk to him. Is he on? Good morning, Professor.
Hi, good morning to you and to your audience. Sorry about the internet issues. It seems to be back now, you know. I don't know if I want to get onto my phone. I'll get off my phone and try again.
You want to try?
Yeah, just give me 2 minutes again.
2 minutes, all right. Okay, do what you can. Let's talk a little bit, and
Sure.
what I'll do a break, and you can see if you get back on.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So the first thing, yesterday we had the Minister of Agriculture on, and we addressed the issue of food security in this country.
Correct.
And with the issue of food security is also the issue of production, and therefore the amount of food we have to import, that we are not producing enough for ourselves, etc. And that has implications for foreign exchange, etc. The minister said many things that they are doing, etc. And he explained how they've been able to increase production, but he was not hopeful about reduction of the import bill. That is a very short summary of what he said. But I want to ask you, Professor, I mean, you have a lot of knowledge of this. What can we do to solve the problem? I mean, we have a pandemic now, and it has shown everywhere that if you are not as self-sufficient as you can be in terms of food, you could end up with a hunger crisis, you could end up with a food crisis, you could end up with problems in your society. And basic common sense tells us that we've got to be able to produce as much food as we can here in Trinidad and Tobago, and then find a way of getting the rest. Would you comment on that, please?
Sure. Well, I think I was listening to the minister yesterday, and I must say you've summarized it very well. We are in a problem, and we have inherited this over many years of neglect of the sector. But that is history now. I think that some of the initiatives put forward by the minister that I heard yesterday seem to be taking us on the right track. Towards some kind of food security. As he rightly says, we can't ever achieve full food security. But we need to produce as much as possible, both food for us, ourselves, and food for livestock. Because while this food import bill is high, and it will continue to be high because even after the pandemic, the grain prices keep going up. And we import a lot of grain for livestock feed and for other individual use. So that and other people are also holding back their stores. The United States, China are holding back some of their supplies. So when the supplies are short on the market, the prices go up. So while we're trying to cut down on one end, there are forces that will always keep the food import bill high. But nonetheless, saying that we still have to do all that we can do locally to keep food on the ground, keep food affordable food for all the people at all the time, which is the definition of food security. We have to do those things. And I was heartened by some of the things that the minister was saying. We have additional ideas. We know where I came from, the University of West Indies, we have these technologies to support most of what he is saying. And there would be other things. So, in essence, we have to start now. There are two things before I pause to tell you that I took away from his comments yesterday. 2 S's, speed and scale. That's what we need right now.
What are those words? I missed it. I didn't hear you clearly.
Yeah, I said 2 things I took away after his speech yesterday, his comments yesterday, is that what we need are the 2 S's, speed and scale. We need to speed up production. Speed up production and scale it up much more. The efforts that we're going to do, because we're coming from very far behind, the efforts that we have to put on the ground now have to be large efforts to really bring about the changes that we want. Because we import a lot. And we import a lot, we have to have it. We have to have the country organized so that, or food production organized, so that we have large quantities of those items that we do well locally. So that's scaling up. And then I'm saying that we need to do this with haste because we had a pandemic and the pandemic taught us a lot of things, but you never know what will happen in the future. And prices are going up. Every day go to the grocery, prices are going up of some of the things that we could produce. So it's speed and scale I want to talk about this morning.
But Professor Ganpat, you said that a lot of the technologies are available at the University of the West Indies to help the agricultural sector to make the kind of transformation that it needs. Is there any discussion whatsoever between, first of all, Ministry of Agriculture and the knowledge capacity of the University of the West Indies, the ministry, the Agriculture Department? Is there any discussion between the farming community and the members of faculty of the University of the West Indies who are doing the research? And is there any discussion between investors and the university to see how this technology could make a difference to the farmers, to the ministry, and to people who want to invest in agriculture? Is there any dialogue going on at all? Is there any connection?
Well, that's a very good question. There is always connection. There's always dialogue. But I think it's at a very low level. It is not at the required level. We don't meet regularly. We don't have any formal meetings. Well, that's us and the ministry or probably with investors to keep these discussions going. Probably somebody needs to pull that together, some kind of coordinating body needs to pull that together, have that discussion going. But we do it on a smaller scale, individually, informally. We talk to investors, we talk to farmers, we respond to farmers, we respond to investors, we respond to the ministry when we have to. So it goes on, but not at the required level that really will bring about the hastened agricultural development that we need. Take, for instance, I think Dr. pointed it out yesterday, the berry farms in Tobago come in to produce strawberries and other products. And I think most people were awed by the system that they were going to produce strawberries and other berries, fully enclosed, controlled environments. And guess what? In the Faculty of Food and Agriculture, we have done that already. Just before the pandemic, we had a fully controlled environment, room growing strawberries and romaine lettuces and cherry tomatoes. We had the technology, and it was done by a lecturer, but mostly research students. And we worked it out, and these products are very good. And so the technology does not defeat us. We have the technologies. We have the technologies for that. For protected agriculture, we have a long history of greenhouses in this country. We know what works, what does not work, what will not work. So it really, and in a sense, you're absolutely correct, because really now we need to have the dialogue. Because if as the minister is saying he's going to be looking to ramp up the production of protected structures, greenhouses, then we need to have a conversation, because there are many things that work and things that don't work. The landscape of Trinidad is littered with greenhouses that did not work and people lost investment, etc. So, in essence, what I'm saying is that we really don't have that dialogue. I don't know if it's on the ministry or the university's responsibility to call that together, or it's probably at the ministry's level to have that kind of coordinating committee to really bring all the players together and let's talk about agricultural development and the way forward. But I would think that that is necessary, and we would certainly want to be part of that. Because we have a lot to offer, a lot of technologies to offer.
No, but I am dismayed by this kind of information. I mean, what is the use of knowledge if nobody knows about it? What is the use of technology and applications if these things reside in the University of the West Indies and nobody knows and nobody cares and there's no connection? What is the sense of people making investments, bypassing this knowledge and getting the knowledge from outside and elsewhere and probably paying for it? And what is the sense of the Ministry of Agriculture and the Minister of Agriculture involving the country in the expenditure to have an agricultural plan, which is taxpayers' money, and the knowledge sector is left out in the system in a knowledge economy that is driven by technology? I mean, does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to any citizen? What is wrong with us in Trinidad and Tobago that we could be so bright with all these PhDs and so on, and MBAs and all this knowledge and all this investing skill and so on, and that we could be so dumb in ignoring the reality of our situation and what is needed? Tell me what is wrong.
I honestly can't tell you what is wrong. I know that's how it has been historically. It's not on this minister alone that we don't have that strong coordinated committee that harnesses all the science and the knowledge to produce food and everything. It happens in pockets, because I know there are strong establishments in the ministry and the cocoa sector and the cocoa research unit at the university and the faculty in the University of West Indies. There's strong synergy there now. And they are indeed moving forward. But in other areas, we can assist. We can move forward. Our business is building knowledge. And then, of course, on our own, we try to share knowledge. But really, when we try our best in all our outreach efforts to share knowledge, we have all this knowledge to share, and this really needs someone to bring us together and put everybody, because not only us have knowledge, we have the University of Trinidad and Tobago, we have other players who in the agricultural sector, we could all come together and I once in a previous regime sat on a National Agricultural Coordinating Committee, NAAC, I think it was. And we discussed these matters, and there was some movement forward. But what it is, I don't see that as happening now. I think that's what really needs to happen so that we could talk about it. So when the idea of greenhouses come up, and I support the minister's plan to have greenhouses, I would say, yes, we need to have them. We need to scale them up. We need to expedite the process of greenhouses. Yes, but we could tell you which greenhouses work and which greenhouses don't work. We could tell you the model, the operational model that you want. We don't want people to come and sell you greenhouses. Because if they sell you greenhouses, they take your money and they go on and greenhouses can't work. We want to build and operate kind of system. You come, you build it, you say it works, and this is all the things that I get. Operate it, and let's see, in our local circumstances, using our local labor, etc. So we could give those kinds of advice. We could say where to put it. Don't take flat, fertile land to put greenhouses. You know, greenhouses could go on paved areas. They could go on the worst soil that you want, because you really want in this system to use soilless culture to defeat all the pests and diseases. We could offer that kind of advice, you know, and we could say all the greenhouses that we must get in Trinidad and Tobago now should not be connected to the electrical grid at all, should not be connected to a water line or a water pump. They should be fully solar and based on rainwater harvesting. So we'd like to, you know, if we engage, we would certainly offer all these things going forward rather than to learn the hard way, because like I've written about it, 3 waves of greenhouses have come into Trinidad previously, and I wrote that about 5 years ago. So this is probably the 4th wave we're going to, and we have never been able to successfully get it going. So really,
things like that, because greenhouses could be put on the worst possible land that you have, because you don't really need the land. You just need the space.
Yes,
Not so? And
Absolutely,
if what you are talking about is a combination of solar power and rainwater harvesting, that solves major problems of arable land. It solves the problem of water, which is a perennial problem for agriculture. And it solves the problem of electrical control and systems control, which is then regulated by solar power. I mean, why can't we see the wisdom of that and get it done?
Yeah, well, that's the wisdom, that's the science, and that's the way going forward. Anybody ask us, we will tell you so. We will promote that. We will. That's where we want to go. We actually, the faculty is presently engaged with China Agricultural University to some greenhouses on our farm at Orange Grove. And we have already told them up front, we want a definite say in the type of greenhouses that will be placed on the farm. Because we learned from the last time, we want ours to be low energy use based on rainwater harvesting. We want technologies that come from tropical environments, not from temperate environments, to be transplanted here. So we really want to say in all this. And we could offer all these things. And the people who we have experience with controlled environmental systems. So like Berry Farm comes and they will do their system, and we will learn from it. But, we have those, we brought many investors to see our system. And they liked it. They were awed when they tasted our strawberries. They were amazed. And our cherry tomatoes, they were amazed. But that's it. Who wanted to invest in it? We had very little uptake with it. Probably the type of investors that we sought after. I mean, that's not really our forte. Our forte is producing the knowledge and the science and then trying to disseminate it. So,
is there something wrong with the climate that discourages investors from those kinds of things? Or is there something wrong with agribusiness framework in Trinidad and Tobago that hinders them from wanting to invest in those things, in your estimation?
Right. So, I think we've come to the conclusion that the biggest key back to our food security and production and everything is investment, financial investment. Why people don't want to invest? It's risky. But with the technology that is available now, it becomes, once you apply technology, it becomes less risky because we no longer susceptible or let's say dependent on or affected by
the weather.
We could manage almost all the issues that come forward, pests and diseases. We could manage the water, the lights, any issues that come forward. We could manage them. But I think people still see the risk, how risky it is, and they tend to shy away from it. Maybe the return from investment. People tend to think that agriculture, we still have this thing about this large expanses of land we need to produce agriculture in the hot sun. We simply can't get away from that. But really moving towards smart technology, even if we have to produce such in the fields and the outside, because we have some crops that we can't grow in greenhouses. I'll tell you upfront, greenhouses are ready for the crops we do well, most vegetables, and some fruits. But that's only one part of the food security equation, Dr. Tiwari. We have to think about root crops. We have to think about orchard crops. All those contribute to our food security, and we have to be looking after them at the same time that we're looking to ramp up vegetable production, because we're really good at vegetable production, but we really need to get root crop production organized and going on a large scale in Trinidad and Tobago. We have lands for it. We have lands. We have technologies for it. We have the precision technologies that the university promotes. We know all the soil types in Trinidad and Tobago. We have them classified we know them in University of West Indies. We know what could go well, where, and when. We have the precision technologies worked out to apply the fertilizers, the chemicals, etc. But really, we think need investment. Technology needs investment. And when we get that, when you have sweet potato and cassava coming out through your nose, you have to have a place or somewhere to do it. So we're talking about processing plants. We need to have processing plants. Medium-sized processing plants at various locations across the country. rather than, a few large processing plants, medium-scale processing plants and chill rooms where people could bring their produce, and have it semi-processed and into the market. I mean, I go and I try to buy some frozen cassava or frozen sweet potatoes sometimes. And you go one week you get, you go next week you can't get. I don't know if you've had that experience. But we need to have these things if we need to invest in all root crops, if we want to reduce the amount of wheat flour that we have in the country and have a much, put more nutrition into our diet. I'll pause a while to get your comments.
Yeah, look, the more I talk to you, the more I realize how the disconnects in this society are really contributing to our underdevelopment as a society, and how the absence of a connection between knowledge, technology, money, finance, in terms of investment and investors, and the political directorate that is driving policy, how this disconnect is really a cause of underdevelopment in Trinidad and Tobago. Look, I'm going to break here for a minute. I'll give you a minute to get on the video so that we can talk face to face, and we'll take a break here, a commercial break now.
Welcome to Lifetime Solutions, where you can trust your roof to us. Our services include custom fabrication, steel framing, roofing installation, on-site roll forming, roofing maintenance and services. Call 223-ROOF or 223-7663 for a quote today, or visit our website www.lifetimesolutionstt.com. Lifetime Solutions. You can trust your roof to us. Call 223-ROOF or 223-7663 for a quote today, or visit our website www.lifetimesolutionstt.com.
Get in the cane field.
I don't want no drunk fisherman's son for my Indira.
Pull your backside from here. You hear me? And take your son the best of you too.
Beta, a government scholarship? Beta, what kind of ship that is? We go catch plenty fish in it?
Oh, pretty.
My heart's
I is the man wearing pants in the house, eh? It's me.
Your house is more than just a home. It's your new normal. It's your place of work, your kids' school, and even your gym. It's where you and your family spend most of your time. With over 43 years in the building service industry, let Magic Mist Services Limited take care of your home cleaning and maintenance needs. From ceiling to floor, interior and exterior, allowing you to focus on what matters most to you. Give us a call. Magic Mist Services Limited, your total facilities management solutions provider.
Hi, I'm Candice Bartner-Hoos, and I am your host of Everything Woman, coming to you live every Wednesday right here on MCTV. Join us every week while we have discussions regarding any and everything affecting us as women, from topics such as fashion, entertainment, to the heavier stuff that no one wants to talk about, such as domestic violence and sexual assault. Join us right here on MCTV.
I am Boxer Potts, and you are?
I am the host of Hard Talk. You refer to me as Mr. Zaid Mohammed.
Join us Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Hard Talk. Hard facts, hard hitting, not politically soft like my brethren in this side here.
And that is old talk, not hard talk.
Wapow! The Big Rich Lime is back. Yes, me, Big Rich, the Pongalunks. I am back on MCTV every week. We go in by the beach, we go in by a river, we go in your backyard, we go in the bush, we go in sightseeing. Big Rich and of course all the top chutney, soca artists, any kind of artist. Anybody who is somebody is going to be on the Big Rich Lime every week on MCTV. Big Rich says so. Wapow!
Hi, this is Michael Ruplal, attorney at law. I'm inviting you to join me every Thursday at 5 p.m. on MCTV for the Social Contract. It's a new show where we will be discussing bills that are being debated in Parliament, topical legal issues and recent decisions of our courts, and where we'll be giving general legal advice on issues that affect you, the public. I encourage all of you to continue looking at MCTV, bringing you back to where you belong.
If you can sing, dance, play an instrument, or perform any kind of talent,
MCTV and Native Caribbean Foundation is looking for you.
All you need is your cell phone and your talent.
And you can be the next superstar in our Star Search.
Just set up your cell phone and record your video in landscape mode.
And you can win cash and other prizes.
Just like the MCTV Facebook page, click the sign up link, fill out the entry form, and submit your video.
Submit as many entries as you like. Submissions end on the 30th of August 2021.
And make sure to look out for your video on the MCTV Star Search.
Welcome back to Brighter Morning with Bo. I am Bo Tiwari. We are on MCTV, Multicultural TV, and U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio. We have Professor Wayne Ganpat on the telephone. We weren't able to get the video, so we'll continue the discussion. Professor Ganpat, if I can summarize what you were saying just now, and try to make it as crisp as possible. You are saying what we need is not land but space. Secondly, you are saying what we need is not physical labor but technology. Thirdly, you are saying the weather might be a problem, but we don't need to worry about that because we need smart systems. And then you are saying not brawn but brain and common sense and knowledge. You need to bring this together. Did I summarize you right? Hello? Is he on the phone? Professor Ganpat, are you on the line there? Did we lose you? We're talking with Professor Wayne Ganpat of the University of the West Indies. He's the former dean there, just retired, and has a long history and academic and knowledge contribution to agriculture. And we want to continue this discussion. Is he on? Professor Ganpat, are you on?
Yes, I am here, sir. Sorry about that.
Did you hear what I said about the summary?
No, I didn't.
What I said is that if I could summarize you succinctly, you are saying the problem is not land. All we need is space. Secondly, we don't need to worry about physical labor so much as we need to understand the importance of technology and the application of technology. Thirdly, you are saying, yes, the weather is a problem, but we can develop smart systems. And then you are saying the issue is not brawn, but brain and common sense and knowledge. Did I summarize you right?
Yes, I think so. Let me just tell you, every student that enters the faculty in year one, first they learn that the factors of production were land, labor, capital, and technology. And we learn that all the time, going through the years, because that's what we inherited.
Yes.
We're celebrating 100 years of agriculture in Trinidad at the faculty this year. And I was pointing that out, that the British Empire, they had all the land, the best land. They had access to cheap and abundant labor. They had their capital well organized from the British Empire, and they didn't require much technology. But they had their markets organized. Yes. There was one person, one one entity, and they had their markets organized. We need to learn from them. We need to organize our systems or get it better organized, for export. For them, it was for export market. For us now, it has changed. It's for the domestic market and maybe some for export. But things have changed dramatically because of the science and the technology over the years. And where we are today, 100 years later, land, labor have been completely, more or less, well, not completely, largely replaced by technology.
Yes, of course.
It's technology that's going to move us forward, and that's where the faculty is focused on. That's where we're developing the technologies that will require less land because we have limited land in Trinidad and the region. We have very little access to labor. People don't want to get into agriculture. They want high wages. But the one thing that is missing is the investment. Come back to that. Who will invest in the sector? Who will invest in all these hundreds of young people graduate from the faculty? We'll take a chance on all these people who graduate from the faculty with all this knowledge and skills and get them going to really get our production going. So it's really, we have the technology. We want to disseminate the technology. We want people to use the technology. But it requires investment. I don't think it's the faculty's role to really go out there looking for the investment. That has to come from either private, public sources.
You need entrepreneurs.
The minister said he's putting in some. We need to get some from other governments through bilateral arrangements. And we do what we can, but it needs a higher level of activity at that level.
Yeah, you see, people, simple things make a lot of difference. If farmers don't own the land that they are working on, that is a problem. The land tenure issue is a problem. Because you have two problems there. You have, first of all, that the land is really not an asset that you can take to the market because it is not yours. So that is the first problem. And the third thing is that the incentive to invest in technology, etc., is not there because you don't have the security of land tenure. And these basic things, this is why I'm saying that the systems that we have are contributing to underdevelopment. And unless we understand that, we are not going to get out of it. Let me ask you a kind of hard question here because I'm kind of putting you on the spot. You think we should take the nursery in St. Joseph and turn it into housing lots?
That's a political question. I really want to steer away from that.
I am asking you as a knowledgeable agricultural person who would know about soil types and who would be able to make an assessment of the value of that land for agricultural purposes. If the political question comes out, if the answer turns out to be politically controversial, it's based on knowledge. It's not based on speculation or political perspective. So let me hear what your view is.
Right. So it's a large state, and it's one of the best lands we have in the country. Okay. Class A soils. And once you put a structure on it, like a housing area, never to be returned to agriculture. So that is really lost to our future generations. We don't know where this thing will go, where we will need our food from. And it will be hard-pressed to put housing on very good agricultural land where you could really go and put it on some other land that is maybe less fertile, less accessible, but that's a political decision. But it's a large, St. Augustine Industries, I've been there, I've worked there, it's a large acreage of land. If you take a small piece, well, everybody could coexist. But not if you take a sizable portion of it, and it's going to impact the rest of the farming activities. Certainly, I know the pressing need for housing in Trinidad and Tobago, pressing need for housing that is very accessible to transport and everything. I know that. But also, we have to be assured, well, in this time, that our food security is, because regardless of whether we go to greenhouses or whatever it is, we must be still planting in the land.
Yes.
There are crops. There are 3 crops, and St. Augustine, those trees were dedicated to the production of fruit trees. And we have not spoken, Dr. Tiwari, yet about the amount of fruit trees and the fruit orchards that we need to have in Trinidad and Tobago to be able to provide for our food security, or even more so our food nutrition needs, Have you ever gone to the market and see the price of a pomsite or pomarac or pineapple? Sometimes I have to shudder whether I could buy it or not.
Yes.
They are the new luxury items.
Yes.
Not apples and grapes. They're the new luxury items. And we really need to get our orchards organized and going and production systems. So we have these crops coming to market fresh from the thing to the farm. Now, DEFCO is doing very well with the marketing arrangements. We could get them to people's things very easily at a much more affordable price. And that has to do with both food, but more so nutrition security. So coming back to St. Augustine, she was dedicated to the development of fruit trees and fruit orchards. So in that regard, it would be very, very hard to lose that or any portion of it to land.
All right. Let's close the discussion at this point because we've got to move on the news. But Professor Ganpat, if you will agree, I will have you back here before the budget. I will give you a date. Can we continue this discussion? Because I don't see how we can have a serious budget in 2020 for 2022 without people and agriculture and food production being at the center. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, so can we agree on that? And I'll give you a date later when I leave the show.
I'll try to get my technology organized better. Sorry about that again.
All right then. Well, thank you very much. We move on now to Shanil Al-Siran and the news.